All right. Well, great evening, everyone. Welcome to Cedric Unplugged Leadership Insights, where leadership gets real, influence gets honest, and growth starts from the inside out. Welcome, folks. I'm excited with you. Woo, man, it is cold all across the U.S. And let me tell you what, in Texas, we're not used to this cold weather, but we are getting our fair share of cold weather. I can tell you that. But you know what? I'm still excited about it. I'm good. I'm just gonna stay inside the house. That's all. I'll go out later to see later in the week, but right now, nah, baby. I'm staying inside. It is too cold. So Cedric Unplugged Leadership Insights is all about real growth. Our mission is to help you become a more to help you become more self-aware, values-driven, intentional leader, not just through conversation, but through real actions, right? Every week, we'll be joined by an exciting guest, leaders, professionals, and experts who bring real world insights, lived experiences, and honest perspective on what leadership truly looks like. And tonight, I have a great guest, right? So together, we're going to unpack leadership at work, at home, in your social life, and in moments that matter most, right? And because leadership isn't just about you, isn't just something you listen to, every episode comes with a companion worksheet designed to help you reflect, apply, and lead right where you are. In fact, go ahead and type that in the comments. Reflect, apply, and lead. Reflect, apply, and lead. That way I know you're listening to me, right? This isn't just a podcast. It's a leadership development experience. So make sure you download this week's Cedric Unplugged Leadership worksheet. I'm going to drop that in the comments later in the show. So make sure you get that link and download that. This is where real work begins. See, leadership isn't really tested when things are easy. Oh, no. See, when you get squeezed, that's when you get tested. See, it's tested when decisions cost you something. So this week, Cedric Unplugged, we're going to talk about values, because what you believe only matters when pressure shows up. See, titles don't reveal character. Decisions do. Let me say that again. Titles don't reveal character. Decisions do. Now, I want you to understand that. I want you to look, guys, we all have to pay attention to this, because when we don't, we let our title rule who we are, and we get out of character. Our values start to slip. We start to do things that we don't intend to do, right? I know some people who are doing that right now. I got tested today, folks. I got tested today, but you know what? My values, my character stays in alignment. You see, because I know who my parents raised. I know who my grandparents, in what they instilled in me. And it says right here, dear ancestors, I understand the assignment, right? And I got tested today, folks, by a group that's supposed to be supportive. They claim to be supportive, but I got tested. But no. Tonight, we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to bring my guests up on the screen here. So tonight, I have a valued friend, an exceptional leader, and a person I respect and trust to help us with this topic. You see, I intentionally select what guests I'm going to have for what week. I invite them for certain weeks. I specifically invited Kenric Lynn as our guest. So let me introduce Kenric. So tonight I'm joined by someone, like I said, I truly respect and I value as a friend. Kenric is a true Renaissance man, right? The kind of leader whose presence, principles, and decisions speak long before he does. Because he doesn't say a whole lot of words. Kenric reminds me of my grandfather. He don't say a whole lot of words, but when he says something, it's going to move the room. Right? See, he's a retired Army vet who understands what it means to make high stakes decisions under pressure. He's a certified leadership coach who helps people lead with clarity and conviction. And he's a personal trainer who knows that discipline, integrity, and consistency aren't just leadership concepts, they're daily practices. What I appreciate most about Kenric is this. See, he doesn't just talk about values, he lives them, he displays them. See, whether in uniform or in the gym, he embodies integrity when it's convenient and when it costs something. Talking about someone who is very supportive and intentional, Kenric is. See, no matter what time of day or night I put out a post, I already know who the first person is going to like that post. It can be at midnight on February 30th. Boom, I press that send button. Kenric going to be the first person to like it. That I don't know, he must have something. He just up all hours of the night and he just pressed that like button. So welcome, Kenric Lynn, to the show.
Hey, Cedric, thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome, man. I'm glad you're able to be here with us tonight. Tonight we're going to unpack what it really means, Kenric, to lead from values and how integrity shows up in real decision making and why character and not titles is the true foundation of leadership, right? So we're going to go through and ask a lot of questions, but Kenric, I talked a little bit about you, but why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself as well, where you're from, where you grew up, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Cedric. Yeah, thank you for that intro. I don't know how I'm going to follow up, and I'm me. But hello, everybody. My name is Kenric Lynn. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I joined the Army way back in 1991. And after 23 years of honorable service, I retired here in a little town called 𝗟𝗲, Illinois, which is right outside of Scott Air Force Base. So if you have ever been to St. Louis, Missouri, I live about 25 miles east of St. Louis on the Illinois side of the river. I live here with my wife and 2 children, all adults, and sometimes they come back, right? So, but it's cool to make sure that we do have my wife and I have built a foundation ourselves to be able to be supportive when we need to. And it's always good to be able to go home. I've been a professional development coach and trainer since 2017, which I believe is when we first met, Cedric, at one of the conferences in Florida. Yes. And I've been a personal trainer since 2021. So I just went over 4 years. It'll be 5 years come Halloween this year. I work at 2 gyms. I work at a private gym in O'Fallon, Illinois called Studio Strong. And I also work at the 𝗟𝗲𝗱𝗿𝗂𝗴𝗏 YMCA, which is right by my house. I love what I do. I love to be able to sit knee to knee with people. I think that's why I love training so much, because I get to utilize all of the professional development and coaching things that I learned by trying to become a trainer with my clients. Because there's nothing like seeing, the light bulb comes on and someone learns that they've already had discipline inside them. They've just never given themselves permission to use it. So I'm just happy to be here today, Cedric.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for joining us. Hey, we have a lot of people here. I see Tina out there. I see Dr. Jeff Willie is out there. I see my cousin Rose is out there. I see B. Jackie Jeter is out there. I see my niece Alexis. You know her, Kenric. I know you know Dr. Sitsi as well. She's out there. So, hey, folks, thanks for joining the show. All right, so let's get started, Kenric. So, you spent a long time in the Army. So, after an Army career, how did your understanding of leadership evolve from your time of enlistment through retirement?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'll tell you, the military is pretty simple. I learned a long time ago, rank means nothing unless you make the final decision or unless you have the final say so. So a lot of the leadership that I learned early on was basically related to how much authority do you have over certain people. we didn't talk a lot about leadership through influence and things like that while I was on active duty, at least not early on in my career. That came later. But I did learn that there were some people that you followed and you could care less about the level of authority. You're like, hey, I got to do, I'll run through walls for this individual. And it was really related to not only how they treated me, but how I observed how they treated other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. That answer. And I love what you're saying is, hey, you learn the value to people and you grew along the way while helping them grow as well. Absolutely love that. So what foundational leadership principle was non-negotiable in the military and it still applies today in civilian leadership? Because I know it can be totally different, civilian world versus military world. But what's one of those foundational principles that is non-negotiable?
Well, I would have to say integrity. It sounds a little cliche, but as you grow as a leader, there are a lot of times to where once you're giving or have been given certain responsibilities, you're also given an opportunity to make decisions autonomously. So one of the things that I learned too is when someone has a delegated authority to you, one of the first things you need to ask them is like, okay, what can I do? Right. And you should want that. You should want to be empowered at a leader. It doesn't matter what level of leadership you happen to be operating at. You should want to be empowered because, if I was to pick another one, it would be trust. You can't earn trust. And it's even hard to give trust without taking some actions. And sometimes you have to show that you are capable of making sound decisions. I think one of the best compliments I've ever been given, and it was a couple of times in my career by people I really respected. And it sounds funny, but they say, I picked you for this, to be in charge of this, because I just couldn't see you messing it up.
Oh,
so aside from, you're going to go and make this all great and excellent. You're going to, create these platinum level results. What people really want is that if I give you something to do, that you're just going to go and do it. And you're going to do it to a level of standard that's acceptable to me without me having to follow up with you all the time about small things, because I know you're going to take care of them.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And you know what they also did was they were setting you up for success as well. They gave you that compliment, right, to get right here to help your actions align with what they expected the outcome was going to be, right?
Absolutely. Because there's nothing like knowing that, the people that have entrusted you actually trust you.
Yes, absolutely. 100% agree with you. Hey, while we're talking here, so while we're Tina, if you're still there, I got to send you an invite to come on the show. We are booking right now for into March, but into April. But I have to send you an email to get you an invite to be on the show, because I want you to be a guest for a specific show that I have coming up in that time frame. So in high pressure environments, and I know Army, you guys I'm an Air Force guy. Maybe you Army guys never did operate in high pressure, but we operate in high pressure in the Air Force. All right. We had to make decisions on what time we were going to lunch. When we're going to swim.
The critical stuff.
So in high pressure environments, right, what separates effective leaders from those who crumble under that responsibility?
I think it's the ability to be calm under pressure. And again, I know it sounds cliche, but I'll tell you a story. So I was at Fort Meade, Maryland for 9/11. Okay. And I'm going to caveat by saying this is not to speak negatively of anyone. Okay. But I was what we call I was a non-commissioned officer. I was in charge, but I was actually in a position where the position was slotted for a rank that was higher than mine. And so they had brought in someone from another one of our, what we call them sister organizations, to come in and almost audition for the job. And it was a great guy, right? Don't get me wrong. Great person. But when on the day that 9/11 happened, his leadership style made people uncomfortable. And I'm saying this because this is what people came and told me. So it wasn't just me observing and giving my opinion. This is exactly what people came and told me. And they specifically said in so many words that it's hard for me to trust somebody that can't maintain their composure. You know, and I'm not saying the person flew off the handle, but it was just their leadership style was one of they, in an effort to be more direct and be more assertive, they were alienating. So I think that for me, just the ability to have been calm in that situation, because at the end of the day, I wasn't making up anything as we were going. I was following the orders that people gave me, and then we were going out and executing whatever that happened to be on site that day. So there was not a reason for us to be overly stressful over what was going on in such a stressful situation, right? Because we still had to do our jobs. And there were some other things that also said, hey, you don't trust us in this stressful situation, which is the reason why you're treating us the way you're treating us. So again, back to the idea of trust is given, so there were not, the person was not putting so-called 10 on people's heads on that day. So I like I said, I think being able to maintain your composure under pressure is key.
Wow. That's awesome. And Jackie said, composure is critical in chaos, right? And there's a demo that you guys probably have all seen where guy takes a lemon and he squeezes and says, "What do you get out of this?" Right? You get lemon juice, right? He says, "Well, if I have an orange, if I squeeze it, what am I going to get out of it?" You say orange juice, right? You're never going to get orange juice out of a lemon or vice versa, right? Well, it's the same thing with human beings, right? Under stressful situations, what we're going to get out of you is what's on the inside of you, right? And if you don't have a composure mindset framework, we're going to get chaos out of you. We're going to get flying off the handle out of you. You're going to see people with low emotional intelligence, right? And you're going to have a lack of clarity around that person. In fact, the card I'm holding up right now is the law of clarity. Right. This is law number 1 in my new book, The 12 Laws of Communication, corporate edition, which says clarity turns strategy into execution. Well, when you don't have that clarity, what happens is you have confusion, fog. Right. So we have to watch out for that. So there's a question here, and I see Jeff says, hey, a crisis doesn't make a leader. A crisis reveals a leader. Absolutely, 100%, right? So Kenric, here's a question for you from the audience. And this is from my cousin, Rose. She says, what do you both of you guys miss about being in the military? So Kenric, I'll let you go first.
Oh, sure. Most of the time, it's the level of camaraderie that you have with other people. I was having a conversation with another trainer yesterday, who also is a veteran. And, we were talking about how, especially when you and I were in Cedric, back in the 90s, it was not uncommon for people to say, everybody comes into the military for different reasons, right? Not everybody is actually coming in here, even though I grew up a G.I. Joe kid, and that had something to do with it. But everybody didn't come in here to be Captain America. Right. Some people legitimately said, this is the best option for me to get money for school. This is the best option for me to be able to take care of my family. All right. That doesn't mean I'm not going to do my job with honor and integrity, but these are my major motivations. Right. And so with that said, the environment was such that you accepted whatever people brought to the table. I didn't expect people to view everything the way I did, even though we had our own set of Army values, same way that, they had in the Air Force. And so I think that just from that, being able to look at the person next to me and know that they're going to be able to cover their side of the foxhole if we happen to find ourselves in the foxhole, regardless of what brought them there, regardless of how they felt about things, it didn't matter. These are our brothers and sisters in arms.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's that's why, part of it, there's a lifestyle like no other. And so even today, you've seen it, Cedric, you go somewhere where you don't know anybody, and then you find out somebody else is a veteran, and it's like you've been knowing each other your whole life.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree with you. I would agree that the camaraderie, some of the people that I served with, is the thing that I miss the most. You're right. When I see veterans, I was at a veteran a VA clinic about 2 weeks ago, and I was coming out, and there was another vet that was coming out, and we struck up this conversation like we've been knowing each other for years, right? And it was all centered around us being vets, and we were talking about some of the experiences that we had gone through while in the military. You're also right, Kenric, in that not everybody goes in, because I was not a G.I. Joe kid, right? The military was the farthest thing from my mind when I was growing up, right? But then that little thing called marriage, and then having a kid and needed to support the family got in the way. It jumped in there, and it didn't get in the way, but it caused me to say, I was making $167 a week working at a grocery store. Right. Now, even in 1987, $167 a week, and I didn't have to pay any mortgage or rent. I didn't have any a car note. I really didn't have any. We didn't have any bills besides having a daughter. But still, that was not enough. I knew then that was not enough, right? And I was in college as well. And I said, I need to figure out, how am I going to have a job that's going to be sustainable, a career that's going to be sustainable, pay me, decent wages, and have benefits. And I rode my bike. In fact, I didn't even have a car at the time. I had a bicycle. I rode my bike from my job to the Air Force recruiting office. I knew I wanted to go Air Force if I go in. So I said, well, let me go talk to them and find out. And that's how it started, right? And then I made up my mind. Once I got in, I said, okay, I'm coming in I'm gonna do 4 years. If I get a commission, I'll stay in. If I don't, I'll re-enlist one more time and try to get that commission. I was trying to go to PA school, physician assistant school. And I said, if I don't get that, by the time my second enlistment is up, I'm gonna roll out the door, right? Because it paid for my college degree. The rest of my college degree. And then I got on my feet. I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so that was my way. And I couldn't have gone in the Marines. I couldn't have gone in the Army either. Yeah, it was that's too much work for me.
You wasn't ready for that level of adulting in the military, right?
No. Dr. Nick says adulting in your purpose. I was not going to be adulting in my purpose in the Marines or the Army.
Right.
I'm just being honest.
Right. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You had your reasons, and you had your life plan, and you were making adult decisions for your family, and that's all that mattered.
Absolutely. Hey, Teresa, welcome to the show. I see Bob is tuned in with us on LinkedIn. Welcome. I'm glad you're tuned in here. We're talking to Kenric Lynn. Hey, in 6 minutes, make sure you're here for a rapid fire, because we're going to hit it hard, fast, and in a hurry. But that's going to go right at the top of the hour at 7 o'clock. Be here for that. And then at the end of the show, we'll end around about 7:15. We will, Central Time, we will put in the link for you to download this week's worksheet. All right. So just stay tuned for that. So Kenric, how does discipline function as a leadership foundation, not just a personal trait?
Yeah, I think discipline, again, like I said, we all have it. Okay. It doesn't just, it's something that you have to practice to get better at. But like everything else, like you say, the answer is always inside of us. It's something we have to give ourselves permission to unlock and then explore. Because I think discipline is also one of those things where we have to practice building our capacity for it. So when someone would say, hey, I want to be more disciplined, and I ask them, so what does that look like? What do you want to be more disciplined at? Okay. And, what's the low hanging fruit? Where can we start to practice being more disciplined? Because the better you get at it at those low hanging pieces of fruit, in building capacity, the better you're going to be with it long term. And we're talking about being able to act beyond your emotions. My daughter will laugh at this, but I was joking with her the other day about something. And I said, you got to be able to lead yourself beyond your emotions. Your emotions are important, but sometimes, just like thinking, they can be anchors, and they are just dragging you down, right?
Yes.
When you say you want to be somewhere, but you can't overcome a bag of chips. And I'm not knocking anybody, because some chips are good. Okay. And I get it. I completely understand it, right? You've been practicing most of the, if you're my age, you've been practicing for 50 years on these chips, and you just want me to give them up today, right? That's just, we got to be realistic.
I had my barbecue corn chips today. So
see, but it's definitely something that you have to practice, and it requires a lot of intentionality. It also requires that you give yourself a little bit of space and grace, because we know all the popcorn will pop at the same time. And so you got to be ready for the ebbs and flows, and you can't give up just because you had to take a step back and regroup so that you take 2 more steps forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree with you on that. So right now we're talking with Kenric Lynn about some core leadership questions, right? We're going to transition here to rapid fire. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dive into some leadership insights on a little bit different level with Kenric here right after we finish with rapid fire. So stay tuned for that here. And let me see why my computer is acting up here. Just give me 1 second.
All right. Can I follow up on what I was just saying? Just
absolutely
kind of tie into to the leadership. So when you have been entrusted with leadership, because I always tell people, you choose the people that you want to lead you. It doesn't matter what you mentioned earlier, it has nothing to do with their titles and their authority when it comes to leadership. So when you have been chosen by someone to lead, they're watching. Right, they're actually trying to see, are you walking the talk? You don't have to be perfect, because I tell somebody, once you've been put into a position now at work where you're no longer the screw turner, and you have to manage and supervise people who turn the screws.
Yes,
you don't have to be the screw turner, but I do need to be able to have the discipline to do the things that are necessary to support the people that I'm leading. And what does that look like? Being available, right? Being able to have tough conversations, being honest with people, holding people accountable, right? That stuff requires discipline, because it doesn't just come easy for everybody.
Yeah. So let me ask you this right quick. So you just mentioned accountability, and I want to follow up on that part right there. So what role does accountability play in building trust on a team, especially when stakes are high?
Oh, yeah. So like I said before, people are always watching, right? And we're taking account, and people typically believe what they see. So when my eyes are measuring you, it's just like with your business, right? You do professional development training. Every time I see you, is Cedric doing what he says he does? Yep. He's doing another training. He's talking about it. I'm at another school. I'm writing another book. I'm helping other professional development trainers grow, because that's who I said I was. And that's what I said my purpose was about. Right? You can't just wake up and just do that without discipline, because I tell people this about you. This is something about you, Cedric. I said, I remember maybe 4 years ago, probably before you were doing a different program. And I remember your thing was, I'm off on Fridays.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, I'm off on Fridays. If I have to be on Friday, don't be surprised if I'm sitting here on the side of my bed with my laptop, right, in my shorts and my t-shirt, right, because I'm sacrificing. This is time I said I'm going to be off. And then something about that time when you got another program, it switched. And, and it was like, well, wait a minute. Are my dreams and my goals not big enough for me to work on a Friday? Right. So it took some discipline, right, for you to say, now, you know what, I need to change. So that's the other thing about discipline. It requires change, and which change is transformation is getting results is what leaders do.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still take Fridays off.
But I know you take Fridays off, but you'll work when
Oh,
you
yeah.
need to.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And my clients are understand that as well. Right. But I
Sure.
definitely go in if they need me. Otherwise, Monday through Thursday, let's get it hard.
Yeah. And no Decembers, right? No
Yeah.
Decembers.
No December. That's right. I'm trying to get May in there too. But
Right.
so, hey, folks, it is 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top. Uh-oh, let me stop. So, so we're gonna transition to rapid fire. So, rapid fire is I call it rapid fire unplugged, unfiltered. The leadership 10. First thought, best thought, no overthinking it. Right? It's totally unscripted. So here we go, Kenric, rapid fire. Leadership is built or revealed under pressure.
Leadership is revealed.
Discipline or motivation, which lasts longer?
Discipline.
Lead from the front or develop leaders behind you?
Lead from the front.
All right. Mental toughness, trained or innate?
Trained.
All right, and folks, you can join in as well. Just put your comments in the put your thoughts in the comments. All right, let's keep going with rapid fire. One leadership habit that you refuse to compromise on.
Integrity.
All right, correction or encouragement. What do leaders avoid more?
Correction.
Burnout is a leadership failure. Yes or no?
Yes.
Physical fitness matters for leadership. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Team success or individual success? What comes first?
Team success.
Kenric, are you still there?
Did you hear me?
No, I didn't hear you. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Team success.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So leadership is a responsibility or a calling?
A responsibility.
Ooh, there we go. Right there. That is rapid fire, folks. Is we call it the leadership 10. We go through it, right? I see that we have some comments here. Let me try to catch up with him. Jackie says she agree on one. Team was one. Correction was one. Bob said yes to burnout is a leadership failure. He said he agreed as well. The physical fitness matters for leadership. And the last one was a team success or individual excellence. Awesome. Thank you guys for participating in rapid fire with us, and thanks always to Kenric for participating in that as well. So now, Kenric, what I want to do in our here is talk about leadership, identity, and character. Right. So, how did the Army shape your leadership identity, and what did you have to unlearn when you were once you transitioned out?
Oh wow! So, one of the things that the military did for me was to teach me that it was okay to volunteer for things. And you always hear people say when you join, I don't volunteer for anything. You volunteered once, you ain't got to do nothing else. But I found that volunteering, which is probably why I volunteer a lot now, volunteering has never let me down when it came to learning new things or to making new connections or to being able to make an impact somewhere just because I wanted to go out there and try to deliver an impact. So it taught me to that's my version of leading from the front is being first to step forward when given an opportunity. And that made being in the military a lot more worthwhile for me too.
Awesome. So, how do values show up in your leadership decisions when speed and clarity matter more than comfort?
So, one of my favorite character traits, which I'll also call it a value too, is versatility. right? So the idea that we can only control ourselves, i.e. our actions and our attitudes about things, things change all the time. And if you've ever been in the military, you're familiar with the phrase of hurry up and wait, right?
Yeah.
So that can be stressful, to say the least. And I think that being able to be versatile means that you're also able to be flexible. And in order to be flexible, you also have to be composed. Okay. So I can't say enough for the times to where I allowed that to be the thing that I led behind, and how that actually helped me. Because I could have been one of those gung-ho people and you do what I say and all these other kinds of things. But Cedric, first and foremost, it doesn't fit my personality, my style. Anytime I've had to or felt like I had to do that, something else always went wrong.
Yeah.
So I had to be me. So that's another thing about leadership. It's hard to lead when you're not really sure about who you are.
Oh,
So
man.
you have to have an idea of who you are so that you can go out and utilize your strengths, not only to your advantage, but to the advantage of those that you're actually serving.
Yes, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. See, some of the answers that you guys heard tonight from Kenric sound simple, but they're not easy, right? See, values are revealed in patterns, not in intentions. Leadership integrity is about what stays consistent when circumstances change. You see, those people who are with you, who they say they're with you in the beginning, but when things get difficult, when they don't like something, all of a sudden they switch up on you. You see, it's revealing who they are. It's not revealing who you are. It's revealing who they are. You see? So you got to pay attention to those things, right? Don't just listen to what they say. Pay attention to the actions. That's most important. So, Kenric, as a personal trainer, I have to ask you a couple of questions here. So, you're a personal trainer and a leadership coach. So, how does physical discipline and mental leadership reinforce each other?
I love this question. One of the nicknames I have at one of the gyms is Yoda. I was reminded of that yesterday, because I think when people first sign up for training or they go into the gym, they don't think about it from a leadership perspective. The idea of leading themselves, they're thinking they made a good decision for themselves, and they want to come in there and see if this is a place for them, or if this is something that will help them. And really, what they have to learn is how to lead themselves. Because I tell people, I'm not going to lift any weights for you. I'm not going to do any running for you. I'm not the trainer that if I see you in line and I don't go to McDonald's, but if I see you in line at McDonald's, I'm not the trainer that's going to complain, because the question is, what was I even doing there? So I'm going to tell you, you came here for a reason, and those reasons that you have to own. And so I think some of the overlap comes with learning how to actually own your life. Okay. So in order to be able to do that, you've got to be able to have the mental wherewithal to make good, sound decisions and to live with the decisions that you make.
Uh-oh. That part right there is difficult for a lot of people, right? And it's interesting. We always say, hey, it's difficult for a lot of people because you see what happens when people switch up on you, make some bad, unwise decisions, right? But I'm not even going to get in that. Let me go ahead on and go on here. Let me ask you, Kenric, here a couple more questions, and let me post the link for you guys here for this week's worksheet. So I'm going to post it in the comments here. I think I may have to go to my LinkedIn and post it as well. I'm going to do that. Kenric, while I'm posting that, let me give you the question that I have for you here.
Sure.
So where is it here? After 20 years in your work, right? What does leading well mean to you at this stage in your life and in your career?
Leading well to me means that I'm helping other people um, solve their problems and get the results that they want in their life, just based on the nature of what I've been doing for so long. I want to say this is why the first thing that came to mind when you asked the rapid fire question about individual excellence and team success is, it's in my nature to want to see people do well. There's things that I've done well, but when I think about it, it was what made it great was the other people that I got to share that experience with. Even my own individual accomplishments, somebody helped me somewhere. And so I get just the small thanks for, encouragement, right? Which is why I say it's hard sometimes for the leaders to give, correction, encouragement, right? I think that people are always looking for some type of validation, especially from the mirror. And so it's easier to get that when you can back that up from other people that you know, love, and trust, who are also giving you validation for your accomplishments. And so I think that I just love seeing people win.
Well, I love seeing people win as well, and that's that speaks volume of you. I know that I can speak for you personally. I know how you love seeing people win, how you're always supportive in our community. And when I say in our community, I'm talking about in our leadership development community. You know the community I'm talking about in terms of the groups that we've been together in this journey, right? So I definitely agree with that. One of my the third law in the 12 laws of communication, corporate edition, is the law of alignment, which says trust collapses when words and behavior conflict. Right, and what it's saying is when those laws are broken, credibility erodes. What it's saying is teams or individuals hedge their effort when that is broken, right? But when it's honored, man, it signals alignment. Commitment increases, right? People want to see you win, succeed, grow, prosper, all of those words. But it all has to be in alignment. And that book's going to be out here real soon, by the way. And we're going to have a whole certification program on it. You'll be able to use that book in your business as well. So I'm excited for when it hits the streets. But it's going to be a strong book, and there's going to be a lot of stuff out there on that. But last question for you here, Kenric. Your career required people to trust you with their lives, right? Speaking of, when you're in the military and actually even in your training now, right? They're trusting you that you're going to spot them with their weights and they don't end up under the weights, right?
True.
So what do you want people to trust you with now as a leader?
As a leader, I just want people to be able to trust me when they feel like I'm the person that they can share things with. And I want to be known as someone who listens and listens well. It's something I've been practicing getting better at over the years because for longest time, I'd be one of those people, if you're telling me something, if I happen to get excited about what you're saying, and all of a sudden I want what I think to be also important because I want what I'm saying to be a part of your story, right? But I think as a trainer, one of the things that I had to get good at was listening, because there's always something behind the first words that come out of people's mouths. And we could start talking about the whole 5 whys and all of that. But I think just being someone who is good at listening is what I would like to be able to earn people's trust in.
Wow. Well, you know, Kenric, you haven't even seen my book. You only heard about it from what I told you here today, right?
Mhm.
But the sixth law is the law of listening. So thank you for
Mm.
promoting that. You didn't even know that, but it's the law of listening. It says influence begins when leaders understand before they direct.
Mhm.
Right? You got to understand your people before you can direct them, right? You got to be aligned with them before you can direct them, right? When people know you understand them, whoo, man, they go a whole long way um, with you.
Mhm.
So that's important. But when it's broken, decisions miss reality, signals disappear, right? People just get your influence doesn't fall the same way with them when you don't understand them versus people that you understand and align
Sure.
with, right? Well, when you honor it, man, resistance decreases. And when resistance decreases, you know what that means? Alignment. Boom, y'all rowing together. Now y'all in the
Mhm.
same boat, y'all rowing together, right? There's no push pull. He's like, hey, let's do this thing together so we can get to where we're going, right? Jackie has a great question here. She says, when does the book drop? So there's two books actually. So it's called The 12 Laws of Communication Corporate Edition and The 12 Laws of Communication K-12 Edition.
Mm.
So I have a team, we're writing two books at the same time. The good thing is both of them are done, right? We finished both of them. Um, right now, we're about to send it through the edit and format process. So my goal is to, well, actually, even before that, I have some teachers who've agreed to review the K-12 edition because I want to release them at the same time. So I'm thinking it's going to be in March when we release them. Next week, we'll send it out for them to review the K-12 edition and give me some feedback on it. But they're solid, and oh my God, I'm really excited about it. There's a whole lot I can't even talk about it right now, but there's a whole lot that's going to be around that stuff. But I'm excited about it, and I'm excited that you're excited about it as well. So, Kenric, any closing comments you have?
Yeah, you're talking about books, Cedric, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about my book, Leadership
Yeah,
Unveiled. It launched back in October. Yeah, we've been doing really
been that long
well.
already?
Oh yeah, yeah. Time
Wow.
moves, right?
Yes, and it's called
uh,
Leadership Unveiled, right?
Leadership Unveiled. Yep, I've got a copy of it here. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it because the screen is blurred. I'll try to put it right in front of me. It was an anthology. I had the opportunity to write it with a few other wonderful authors. It was my first time being a part of a book project. And from the book, just if you let me have a minute, one of the
Yeah,
things
go
that
ahead.
I always do from a lot of the books, sometimes I have random books laying around and that I'm not necessarily, I've already read this book quite a few times, but sometimes I pick a book up and I want to say a lot of people probably do this with their Bibles, right? You just
Yep.
randomly open it up to a page, right? And
Yep.
so I did that before the show started, and it just so happens that this was one of our good friends' chapters, right? And it just says
Mhm.
ownership grows when people feel empowered. So empowerment doesn't mean letting go of standards. It means involving people in defining them, right? And so when we're talking about, leadership and what makes for, good, effective leader, you've got to be able to empower people. And it looks different for different people, but so is your job as the leader to figure out what's the best way to empower the people who have entrusted you with leading them.
That
So just
part.
keep that in
Yes.
mind. That's why I said leadership's a responsibility.
Yes. Absolutely, it is a responsibility. Hey, folks, I am so glad you guys joined in tonight. Hopefully, you got something out of it. Let's show Kenric some love in the comments, in the chat. If you can, boom, 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 hit that likes button, the subscribe button on YouTube, all that type stuff. Show Kenric some love. Get his book, Leadership Unveiled. And Kenric, you can you can put a link if you want in the comments, like on the Facebook link. That'll be great. People will definitely support you on that. Hey, folks, we are destined to have a great show again next week, next Monday. I'm waiting on my guests to confirm or not, but either way, I'm going to be here. Cedric Unplugged Leadership Insights every Monday night, 6:30 Central Time. So make sure, put it on your calendar. Just go ahead and hit repeat on your calendar so you know to come here. We're going to have some leadership insights for you every week, and we're going to have a worksheet for you every week. Because see, I don't want you to just look. I want you to listen, but I don't want you just to listen. I want you to get something from it. I want you to grow from it. It's not going to be a charge for it. It's just going to be something to add value to you. And the one this week is definitely going to add value to you, right? So get it, share it with someone else. You know somebody else that may need that worksheet. Go ahead and do that. I see Miss Brenda Lynn. I assume you must know her, Kenric.
Yeah, that's my mother.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in. And I hope you guys stay warm out there. It is cold in Texas, so don't come to Texas thinking you don't get any warm weather. I live on the beach, and let me tell you what, I'm not going out there right now. It is too cold. We're like Chicago type weather right now. But hey, guys, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Go and download that. I put the link, the worksheet link in the chat. So go ahead and pull that up. And we look forward to seeing you again next Monday. Until then, make sure you have a great leadership week. Peace, and we're out.